Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Adija. Thank you so much for joining me again today. I hope that you're doing well. Today, I want to share with you some key points to consider before you go into the field of medical social work. These key points may also be useful for you if you're already in the field. So if you'd like to find out more, keep on watching. The first thing I want you to consider is the setting. As a social work student or future social worker, if you know what setting you would like to work, it is important that you work closely with your field placement advisor for placement in a setting in your setting of interest. For future medical social workers, I strongly recommend, strongly recommend that you intern in a hospital. This will allow you to gain a lot of knowledge and hands-on experience in that setting. And once you're done interning in a hospital, you're pretty much ready for any medical setting. It's just a great place for you to start. During your MSW program, you're spending a year or so at your field placement. What this would do is that it would increase your possibility of getting hired when you complete your internship with that particular organization. Even if you don't get hired right away, you might get hired in the future, because what happens is the company sees you as an asset and they don't have to train you. Speaking of host settings, another thing that I want you to know is that as a medical social worker, you're working in a host setting. Settings such as hospitals, outpatient clinics, nursing homes, other medical settings, they're considered to be host settings. What this means is that it is a setting where social work is not the primary profession. There are some challenges with working in host settings. It would include having a leadership team that is not familiar with what social work, what social workers do, the social practice, values, or code of ethics. And you may be reporting to somebody that may not know exactly what you do. They just have a basic knowledge of what you do. For example, an MSW may be reporting to a registered nurse. Some people don't like that very much. I want to say that don't focus so much on that. Instead, focus on your job, because what happens when people start focusing on that improper chain of command is that it begins to affect their morale. So instead, focus on your job, focus on what you can control. One more thing about that is that if you're going to be reporting to somebody or you're being supervised by somebody that is not a licensed clinical social worker and you need clinical supervision, you should know upfront about that before you even take the job, so that you can make alternative arrangements or negotiate alternative arrangements with that agency so you can get your clinical supervision while you're working with that particular organization. The next thing that I want you to consider is the importance of communication skills. Build your communication skills, effective listening, show of empathy, being confident in your interactions with people. Also, the nonverbal communication is very important, because our body language, our eye contact, our tone of voice, it all colors our message, right? It colors the message that we're trying to pass across. So it's very important that we have effective communication skills. It is important that if this is an area of weakness for you, that you work to sharpen those areas so you know how to convey messages effectively and confidently when you're speaking with patients, doctors, and other people in the medical field. You're going to be working with people from all walks of life, and you have to know how to talk and relate to people in a respectable manner as well. The next thing I want you to consider is problem-solving skills. As a medical social worker, a lot of your work will be about balancing the needs of people. You're balancing the needs of patients while you're trying to manage the demands of stakeholders on the larger, medical team. So you have to be able to problem solve. You have to meet many meeting expectations as well as administrative demands. So you have to know how to develop solutions or strategies for solving problems, as well as learning how to prioritize problems. For example, I work in a outpatient clinic, right? So sometimes there are things that come about and it causes like a shift in my schedule. Typically, I have a rolling schedule, so I have a list of patients that I see for the day. But sometimes circumstances arise that I have to pay attention to something first before I go back to my patient. And sometimes you have the patient already waiting, so I have to communicate and say, hey, I have an urgent situation right now. I'll be with you in about 15 minutes. and then go handle that other problem that is the higher priority at that time. So as a social worker, you have to know how to be able to problem solve effectively. The next thing that I want you to consider is stress management. Medical social work is very demanding. Yes, it gives us a good opportunity to, connect with people in deeply meaningful ways and also make positive impacts in the lives of people. But being a medical social worker comes with a lot of stress. And if you don't have a working self-care plan, if self-care is not a lifestyle for you, the demands of the job will likely take its toll on your mental health as well as your physical health. So you have to have a consistent self-care plan that will allow you to have a healthy work-life balance. So let's do a quick summary of the things that I would like for you to consider before you go into the field of medical social work. The first thing to consider is what setting you'll be working in. Another one is communication skills. If you have poor communication skills, you need to work on building that, because that's one skill that is very pertinent to this job. The next thing that I want you to consider is improving and working on your problem solving skills. Lastly, stress management, because it is so important. Social work is a very rewarding job. However, it is very demanding. And if you don't have a working self-care plan, it will take its toll on your health, physically as well as mentally. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you've been able to learn a thing or two about the key points to consider before you get into the field of medical social work. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to my channel, and be sure to comment below if you have other strategies that you would like for people to consider before they go into this field of social work. Also, be sure to follow me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is @millennial_social_worker. Follow me on that platform to stay connected with me. Once again, my name is Adija. I want to thank you so much for watching my video today, and I'll see you next time on my next video. Take care and God bless. Bye.